Hello everyone, welcome to WD18, the Watford fan channel. Welcome to another transfer video. I'm delighted to say we're joined by Sam and Elliot for this one. A lot to discuss. I think probably the best place to start is Etienne Capoue's departure. I did a video on it myself, but we wanted to get the views of Sam and Elliot, obviously, as well. Sam, I think you put a tweet out saying, even though we all expected it to be confirmed, you were still really gutted to see Etienne Capoue join Villarreal on a permanent basis. What were your thoughts overall on the deal?
Again, it's so weird because, as I said in the tweet, we all knew it was coming. It was a matter of time. I mean, the reports had come out that he'd passed his medical. But when the tweet just came through and seeing him in a Villarreal shirt, it just still seemed so surreal. I couldn't picture it because he'd been at Watford. He's been here at 5. He was at us for 5.5 years, and he was arguably, I mean, he was our most consistent player over those 5 years. And he really came into his own under Javi. And I know there's lots of questions about, is he a club legend? Will he go down to Watford great? In my mind, there is no doubt he is the best Watford midfielder I've seen in my lifetime. And he's arguably the best Watford midfielder of all time as well. So I'm really, 100%. I mean, I can't. I mean, there's going to be people. Hopefully, there's older people on there watching that can correct me. But just particularly in the Pozzo era, it was there. I can't think of a better midfielder. Maybe Alman, but even then, quality-wise, Capoue just unbelievable. And I think it was the right time for him to go. I was surprised he didn't go in the summer. But yeah, it's the right time to go. But brilliant player.
Yeah. Elliot, were you the same and gutted to see Etienne go, but probably the right time?
Yeah, exactly that. Villarreal's too good an opportunity to pass up from his perspective, and like Munoz said in his press conference today, he wanted him to go because it's a great opportunity, but it's a huge loss for the squad. And I think the fact that he didn't go in the summer sort of gave me a feeling that he might stay again. But as soon as I think they tweeted out an octopus emoji, and I thought, it's got to be him. It's got to be him. But yeah, huge loss, and I just don't know what we're going to do to replace him.
Elliot, just to expand on that point about the loss to this Watford team, what did Etienne Capoue bring to the team that you think we're now missing? Because I said it in my reaction, I think, to the news, that he'd been playing at maybe 50-60%, and he was still comfortably our best midfielder this season. What qualities do we need to what qualities, number one, did he bring? And maybe number two, what sort of player do we need to bring in to replace that hole?
Well, he was like 3 players in one, really. The way he could win the ball and then distribute it just fantastically. Wouldn't say he was like Kante and De Bruyne mixed into one in that sense, but he just did. He did capture the ball winning.
I'd say he was.
He just has got that ball winning ability. The way he can completely win possession and then ping a ball from wherever, and it will just end up at someone like Ismaila Sarr. I remember at the start of the season we were waxing lyrical about how good he would be playing the ball into Sarr and to João Pedro, and we did see glimpses of that, but it's disappointing that we only got to see him for like 11 games. But like you say, only at 50-60%, and he was still comfortably one of the best midfielders in the whole league. And big loss. I don't know what we're going to do to replace him. I think Nathaniel Chalobah's got good qualities. I think he is a good ball winner, and there is talent there. But I don't know if you can replace Etienne Capoue that easily with just slotting Chalobah straight in.
Yeah, I think make a good point there with Chalobah, that he is a good ball winner. I know a lot of fans aren't the biggest, fans of Chalobah, but when he came on against Norwich, I was thinking this is a good sub because he can break up those passing lines, and he's good at intercepting the ball. He's good at winning the ball back. It's just about Capoue was so good in transition of winning the ball back, getting it out his feet and spreading it long to the wide men or Troy. But I don't really feel that Chalobah is that right person to do it. So hopefully we can find someone to do the Capoue role.
Just off the top of my head, we've got Cleverley, Hughesy, Chalobah, Garner. Is anyone else off maybe in the first team? Obviously, Deli Bashiru's out at the moment. Yeah. I think actually, I'm not saying he will fill that void, but I think he's the most dynamic out of the 5, really.
I'd say aside from Hughes, I would genuinely say he is the best midfielder at the club. You could see. I think there's just something about him that's really, really good. And I just think if it wasn't for that injury, you could see with Ivic as well. Ivic loved Deli Bashiru. I remember doing press conferences, and even when he was injured, when naming midfielders, he would always say Tom Delly is another great player that we've got, and he really took a shine to him. And I hope eventually when he comes back, obviously we don't know which manager is going to be there when he does come back, but hopefully Xisco takes a shine to him like Ivic did. And yeah, I think he could genuinely be the best midfielder at the club, aside from Hughes, who's obviously fantastic.
Do you think maybe the dilemma Watford have at the moment is because we've got, let's just, obviously Dele Bashiru's out at the moment, we've got 4 central midfielders who are in the first team picture. Do we need to maybe move one of those on in order to bring someone else in, or is it just bring someone else in regardless now with Capoue gone? Because I'm just not sure whether the players we have at the moment can fill that void. I think Hughesy, obviously, when he comes back in, that's a massive boost to us. But Cleverley and Hughes, that partnership we hasn't been really tested this season. It's a big gap for Watford to fill. Is it maybe a case for you, Elliot, that we bring someone else in, or do we need to move maybe a Chalobah on in order to bring someone else in?
I couldn't see us moving anyone on, to be honest. I doubt Chalobah would go anywhere. I doubt we'd end Garner's loan or anything like that. I think the fact that Garner is only here for the rest of the season, I don't think we'd make it permanent, mainly because Man United wouldn't want that to happen. But I think the fact that we will have one less midfielder in the summer means that we can afford to get another midfielder in without sacrificing someone like Chalobah or Cleverley or even Hughes. We don't know if there's interest in Hughes. There were rumours that a couple of teams were after him, maybe Tottenham. But yeah, I think the focus should be on getting one in and not getting one out. I think we'd be fine with having one more.
Sam, are you the same there? Is that a priority this January window?
Yeah, for me, the Capoue replacement is the priority. It's quite difficult to discuss about whether we need to get someone out before we can bring someone in, because we don't know about the club's finances. But my gut feeling is that we will have to get rid of someone. But spoke about it on the previous podcast that we kind of, there's so much deadwood still in that squad that we can move on in the forward areas and at the back as well. So I mean, there is stuff there that we can get rid of to fund a central midfielder, but 100% that is the priority.
I guess there's also a bit of a dilemma about what system Xisco Munoz is going to play, because obviously we played the 4-4-2 against Norwich, but is it going to be a 2? Is it going to be a 3, which we saw under Ivic at times, with maybe a player slightly further forward? That's a dilemma, but certainly the central midfielder is a priority for this window. Elliot, for you, is there any other positions which you think Watford should target? I think you were at the press conferences where Ivic was very vocal about not bringing in a left back and wanted a left back. Is that an area we still need to address with Messina coming back in?
Well, I've really thought Messina was fantastic on the weekend, and I'd like him to be the starting left back. But I do think putting players at left back that aren't left backs isn't sustainable. So I do think we should get another left back in. Obviously, I wish we could have had a Stupinian there to just be the easy option, but it wasn't to be.
He looked the real deal, didn't he?
Yeah, him and Queen in particular were just immense.
I have to watch Villarreal now because
sorry, go on, Sam.
No, because Estupiñán and Capoue now are Villarreal, so gonna have to watch that every week now.
It used to be Forest, now it's Villarreal.
Yeah. Oh, sorry,
I was just going to say, on Domingos Quina, sorry, just going back to the central midfielder point. I mean, where does he fit in now? Because I don't know whether he'll be deployed on the left-hand side with Zinckernagel coming in. I don't know what the situation is with him. If it's a 4-4-2, will he play centrally? It's really up in the air, actually, this January.
It's so. I find it so weird though how we're talking about how we need midfield reinforcements. Yet we are, in terms of squad depth, we're quite blessed with it. We have so many central midfielders in there. It's just about whether any of them are good enough to fill in that Capoue gap, which was so big.
Sorry, Elliot. Going back onto left back, Ivic was pretty vocal about not bringing a left back. You want Messina to be first choice, but is it just about finding a backup in case he gets injured?
Yeah, absolutely we just need a solid backup. I remember Ivic, he tried keeping his cards close to his chest early on, and people would say to him, "Oh, do you need a player?" And he says, "Yes, we need one position." And he would never say that position was. Everyone knew he was talking about left back. And I remember one day someone said to him, "Do you want a left back?" And he just went, "Yes, I want a left back. I need a left back." And I agree with him. We do just need another left back, because it's a big injury to come back from for Messina. And Achilles is not a small injury. So if he gets injured again, then then we've really needed another left back. We can't just be stuck using a 5 at the back or limiting ourselves to having right backs at left back or centre backs at left back. We need someone that's a natural left back that can play there comfortably, and then we can stop worrying about left back for a season at least.
Yeah, I remember there was a few links in the summer. I think it was a Jordan Lukaku. We put in a bid for him from Lazio on loan, but I think he went to the Belgian league in the end. I forgot which team. So clearly the club, it's not like they didn't try. They obviously did try to bring in a left back. Unfortunately, they weren't able to. It wasn't the left back they wanted to. So we picked out left back, a central midfielder to replace Capoue. Is there any other positions? I've heard the attacking forward positions, the 2 strikers in particular, we should maybe bring in another one. Is that maybe an opinion you'd agree with, Sam, that we need to bring in another one? We've got Dean, Gray, Paritza, Success coming in as well.
Glenn Murray as well, if we keep him on as well. 100%. We haven't been scoring enough goals this year, or not as many as we would have liked. I don't actually think it's that bad, the goal scoring. Just if we are going to be competing to perhaps win the league, we're not scoring as many as we need to be as Bournemouth and Norwich, who seem to be putting away, 2, 3 or 4 at least every other week, which we need to be doing more. And that was largely down to Ivic's style of play. But with this more attacking coach now, I hope to see we will score more goals. And it's just a matter of whether, Deeney and Gray, I have no doubt that they work hard. Even Paritza as well. But it's just about whether all of them can be sharp and actually scoring goals. Particularly Paritza, because I think he could be the man. But that miss against Norwich perhaps questions that again, and it's just about him getting sharper. But I do think another striker would be really helpful.
So Elliot, for you, Watford's approach going into this transfer window, is it the priority to keep on to what we have, or to just address the key areas and potentially move people out? And we don't want to speculate about players that could be leaving the football club, but is it more important to keep what we have at the moment, or to bring people in, if you know what I mean? So, for example, could Sarr leave? Sarr could leave in January. Deeney could leave in January. I don't know, but there could be some big players that could really leave the club in January. Or is it a case of just sticking with what we have and riding out for the rest of the season?
For me, there's left back and central midfield that I think need to be addressed, and then after that, the focus is retaining who we've got. I think it's quite clear Ismaila Sarr is not for sale. And I know we've said that in the past, and it's not been the case. But I don't think we want to lose him in January. Maybe a different story in the summer. But yeah, I think the focus would be to hold on to what we've got. Like I say, with strikers, that we've got those strikers that you've named, but then there's also João Pedro and Ismaila Sarr. They're not ideal strikers, but they have played there. And we've got options, and Ivic did cope with those. And I think the stat was that we've got 13 different goal scorers this season or something like that. And now that we've got a more attacking coach, then perhaps that will all be fixed without the need for a new striker.
We'll talk about one incoming just to wrap up this transfer video, and that is Philip Zinckernagel. The Danish winger is expected to join Watford on January the 1st on a free transfer. Elliot, I actually read your article about him. You labelled him Watford's next star, I think it was, in the piece on the title. So a bit of pressure to live up to, but I think last season in the Norwegian league, he scored 19 goals, got 24 assists in 28 games?
Yeah, 19 goals.
There we go. What have you seen from him? What has your been analysis of him, and from what you've seen from him so far?
Well, I'm no analyst, but I've tried my best with it, and he seems like a very obviously attack-minded winger. He's not someone like Semmer who can sort of do a bit both. I think he is absolutely a forward, and he's good at pressing, which we saw a lot against Norwich. Someone like Deeney, Paritza, Sarr, all were very good at the press and pushing towards players like Ollie Skip, who was unfortunately on the wrong end of a lot of pressure. So I think having someone like him will just add to that attacking mentality, and his statistics speak for themselves. And although he wasn't a very attacking team, so I think it will take some time to gel and some time to integrate into the team. But I think he'll be the right fit, and I think in time he will be a very, very, very good Watford player.
Fingers crossed. Sam, it was interesting actually. I read a couple of reports coming out. I think it was in Danish media, and they were saying that there was a few Saudi Arabia clubs linked with him, some lucrative contract offers, because obviously he's on a free transfer. I think it was a Turkish club were interested as well. So it was Red Star Belgrade. So big European clubs that were in for him, and he decided to join Watford. I think the choice for him was between the English league and the Spanish league, if I remember correctly, he had a preference, and Watford have come in for him. Obviously, I don't know how much you know about him, but Elliot's obviously given a bit of depth there. Was that an area that we need to bring in a right midfielder with the Sarr speculation? He's probably likely to move on in the summer. Is that an area we needed to address?
I wouldn't say it was the priority. I think we've spoken about already that the centre mid and the left back. But if you've got a player of that potential and the quality that Elliot's saying he has, then we've seen that we seem to pick up on these sorts of players. He also seems to be versatile, that he can play anywhere along that three behind the striker, and he can play up front as well. Can he play up front? I think
behind the striker on the right. He hasn't played behind the striker much this season, but he's apparently capable of playing there, and he's two-footed as well, so he can play on the left if need be. Okay, fine.
So really good bit of business.
Yeah, got WD18 scout as well now in Elliot as well.
Transfer business all season, getting Elliot into WD18.
But I mean, if we want to go up, it's obviously we mentioned as well that we need depth in positions and quality, and he seems to fit the bill for that. So it's a good signing.
The only concern I've read from people who've watched a lot of Norwegian football and a lot of Zinckernagel is that the team he was playing for, it was very much built around his strengths. So that's probably not going to be the case at Watford for at least a year, probably, if the new manager takes a liking to him. It's very much reliant on that. Do you think that could be a problem, Elliot, or do you think we've just got to be patient as Watford fans, just to ease him in, not expect these incredible statistics and incredible efficiency as well? We've got to be patient with him, or do we need to be expecting a lot from him initially?
I think there is a level of patience that we need, but there was a lot of talent in that. I think that Bodo Glimt is their name, but they absolutely.
Yeah, I heard the name and I forgot. I didn't want to pronounce it wrong, so sorry, mate.
They walked the league. They finished 19 points clear, and they scored over 100 goals in 30 games. So it wasn't just him. That's the key. They had Jens Petter Haug. I don't know if that's right, but he's now AC Milan. He integrated into their squad perfectly. He's done really well. One of the best youngsters in Europe now. They've got a couple of other talented players that I looked into. There's a Casper Juncker, who I think had even more goal contributions than Zinckernagel.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of talent in that squad. And although it was centered around him a lot, I think he's capable of playing as part of a team and not being the focal point, and someone alongside maybe Sarr. I don't know if they'd play in the same team together, but alongside players like Sarr, Sema, Dini, I think he can become a team player rather than the star man necessarily straight away.
Yeah, he looks like a good bit of business on a free transfer. It was for Fenerbahce, who were the Turkish team. And just to sum up Philip Zinckernagel 1920 season, he obviously won the Norwegian Championship with FK Bodo Glimt, as you mentioned, Elliot. He was the player of the year that season, 19 goals and 24 assists in 28 games. So he has got talent. Hopefully he can replicate that form of, even half of that form of Watford. A good deal. But that's our first transfer video of the January window. If you'd like to see more of these videos, guys, then please do leave a like. Don't forget to follow Sam and Elliot on their social medias. The link will be in the description below. And if you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe to WD18. And we'll be back for another video very, very soon. Thank you, guys, and take care.